Hey guys, I'm in Loveland, Colorado. This is where I grew up. I'm actually at my uncle's chiropractic office, and this is him over here. Hey Greg, how's it going?
Hi, how you doing?
Doing awesome, man. I'm really excited because this is the Haibike FS 27.5 full suspension electric mountain bike. I bought this about a year and a half ago. It was like early 2014. I did my usual tests on it, and actually I dug in a little bit deeper, and the reason I bought this is because it was one of the first Bosch powered electric bikes available in the United States. And I was really excited about the system. It was going to be on a lot of bikes. I wanted to see how it performed. I rated it really highly. I liked it. But you know, that was a limited use kind of thing. It was brand new. I took it on trails and tried my best to see how it performed. I sold it to you about a year ago, and you've been using it, sounds like daily since then, just as a commuter. And so I wanted to get your take. What's this really like? So, how do you use this? Like, what's your day-to-day?
Well, I use it as a daily commuter. So I live across town, and I'm about 7.5 miles away. So usually I ride it at least 15 miles a day.
Wow.
Just to and from work or somewhere in there. Yeah.
That's pretty significant. Yeah. And daily. So, I mean, honestly, like, you have a car.
Yeah.
So, like, why do you really do it daily? I mean,
yeah, it's just so much fun, and it's a great way to get around town, and I'm getting exercise and being outside, so it is a great way to get to work.
Okay.
And I bring along work clothes, so I'll wear shorts if it's summertime, and if it's winter, I'll wear sweatpants, and I can change in the office and get ready for work. So it's just so much fun that I enjoy using it to go to work every day.
Okay, and so I'm excited to ask you more about bikes, because you've had regular bikes before this too, but you've also had like a Vespa scooter thing, like a gas-powered scooter.
Yeah.
How is this different from that? We got a squirrel on the loose over here. This is a fun area. Okay, so tell me about the Vespa thing. How did that work? How long did you own that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I used it during about a year's worth of time.
Okay.
And I used that to go to and from work, and that was good too. But with that, I was out in traffic more, and it seemed a little bit more dangerous. And it got great gas mileage. I could get like 90 miles to the gallon with it.
Yeah.
Because it was a Kymco scooter.
Okay.
So, but with the mountain bike or with the bicycle, you can go on sidewalks and you can drive it like you're a kid and cut across parking lots and go down alleys and on sidewalks and down the street.
That's awesome.
So it's more versatile, and it's just great. And with the electric motor on it, you can just go farther and faster than if you're just riding a bike.
Like a regular bike.
Yeah.
Well, how about noise? I mean, Vespas and stuff, they're usually pretty quiet. Electric bikes are like notoriously quiet. Like, how do they compare sound-wise?
Yeah. The scooter was quite a bit noisier, because
Really?
it was like a 49cc motor, so it was kind of going down the road. So this is like almost completely silent compared to that.
Well, and this is the Bosch does have a little bit of like there's kind of a whirring, and I mentioned that in the reviews, but still, one of the things, someone was telling me you seem like some animals out on your rides.
Yeah, it's quite enough that I've been up in the foothills going down a mountain bike path, about a month or so ago, and it was like 8 a.m, and I looked up and there was a baby bear in front of me.
Oh my God.
And so right away I wondered where Mama was, and Mama was behind me, and so I was between
Game
Mama
of pickle.
Bear. Yeah. So I just kind of got out of there, but I've noticed I'm able to kind of sneak up on wildlife when I'm out on the trails, because a few days ago I saw a coyote and
oh my gosh. And okay,
downtown.
we're in like late October right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
wow.
So, it is fun. I've noticed that I've snuck up on wildlife that way, because it's not like a obnoxious noise, and you're traveling at a good click, so all of a sudden you're there, and then all of a there's animals
the
there,
animals, and they're like, what's that?
So you do have to be a little careful if you're in the wrong spot.
Speaking of sneaking up on stuff, how about people? I mean, how has this been received? Like, give me the good, the bad, like, be completely honest, because this is probably one of the few electric bikes that have been in the small town of Loveland, Colorado for the past, number of years. Or have you seen other electric bikes? Like what?
Yeah, no, I've seen a couple of guys with gas-powered motors on bicycles around town,
Okay.
But I haven't really run into any other people
on e-bikes yet.
that I know
right?
of.
We're getting there. So,
yeah.
but then how do people receive this? Do they even notice that it's electric? Like,
not everyone notices, actually. I had one guy outside a store, an older guy. He said, that bike, that's a nice bike. It's got about everything on it except for a motor, And I said, well, it actually does have a motor on it.
That's fun.
So, and when you're out and about, it seems like you talk with people more.
Yeah,
people
more social.
are friendly, and overall, I haven't had any negative responses from people. When I was mountain biking on Devil's Backbone, one of the mountain bikers said, "Oh, that's cheating with the electric motor."
Yeah.
But he was kind of saying that in a friendly way.
Yeah.
So,
well, okay.
and I didn't really feel too bad about it. I was still pedaling and having a great time. So, it's just, and up on the trails, sometimes it's a little crowded, and I just slow down and people let you by, and everyone's, when you're out on a trail,
Awesome.
people are generally really friendly anyhow when you're hiking in Colorado, and so you don't go tearing through at full power.
Be respectful.
Just, if you're respectful, then they're the same way back.
So thank you for mentioning like the pedaling thing, because this bike in particular, this is a class 1 electric bike, which means there's no throttle or anything, and it's limited to a top speed of 20 miles per hour. You can pedal faster, like bomb a hill faster than that.
Yeah. Coming down hills, I've had it up to, in kilometers, it was like 50 kilometers per hour.
That's
so
awesome.
In miles per hour, I don't know what that would be, 30 or 40.
And that's like a regular bike.
Yeah.
Like a regular bike, you can also go fast. However, under motor power, you have to be pedaling. It's got a really responsive, this thing measures your torque, your cadence, and also the wheel speed. So this is one of the more advanced bikes. It is more expensive, this bike here, but California just passed a law where you can ride these on mountain biking trails if it's class 1, because they were like, look, it's it's helping people with knee injuries. It's not tearing up the trail or anything. So I'm glad you've had good experiences here in Colorado.
Been a lot of fun.
It's been received well.
It's just great.
So you mentioned the mountain biking trail, and you mentioned the 15 miles a day, but it sounds like you ride more. Like tell me some of the other adventures and how far you've been able to go on like a charge.
Yeah. Typically when I use it to commute, the charger's pretty lightweight, so I'll put it in my bag, and so I can either charge it at home or at the office, depending on when I'm running low.
Yeah.
And but I can go 30 or 40 miles in a day pretty easily, because sometimes at lunch, when it's a nice day, it'll just be nice to go to lunch out at the mall, and that's out by the interstate. So you'll go out there, and then there's some lakes, and drive around the lakes and have lunch, and so it's just kind of like you're on vacation all the time.
That's sweet. Yeah. So, don't have to worry about parking probably. You just lock it up.
Yeah. And if you're noticing that you're starting to run lower on the battery, you can click it down to eco mode, and that way you're using less energy and you can keep it going. When you start, it says that you can go probably like 50 or 60 miles if you just had it in eco mode all day.
And that's the least, it's like the least motor power. But how do you ride? Like where do you start, and what modes do you use the most?
Yeah, typically I'll use the way up on the turbo mode the most.
Nice.
Well, when you're at a stoplight, I usually kick it down to the turbo, and then once you start riding, I'll kick it down a little bit to save the battery life, and then it still gives you a good amount of assistance, but you're just cruising pretty much at the maximum speed.
Okay.
So usually I go as fast as it'll let me, and then so if I'm doing that, I'll use the turbo mode and the touring mode the most, and then the eco mode comes in handy when you're going downhill or if you're getting a good power from your legs.
Okay, well, thank you for all that background. When we started out, I kind of outfitted this with some different accessories and did some videos a long time ago, and it looks like they're still holding up. We've got the Ergon ergonomic grips with these bar ends. Do you like those? They holding up all right for you?
Oh yeah. This is a very comfortable, and also it's nice to change your arm position
over those long rides. Probably
sometimes my hands will get a little numb if I'm leaning on them too much.
Okay.
And that helps.
That's kind of making me think here. I bought this because I like full suspension. I have some back and neck issues. As you know, you're my chiropractor. You've seen me crash.
I'm a chiropractor, and I do acupuncture.
So, like, as far as ride comfort for you, how has this full suspension worked out, and what are your thoughts? Like, what settings do you use when you ride?
Yeah, I really like the full suspension, and you can adjust so that it's got more bounce or less bounce, and I usually keep it where it cushions the blow the most. And you can lock out the front shock, make it so that it doesn't bounce at all.
Yep.
But I usually leave the suspension on the most comfortable setting because I've got the motor to help me go around, and so I guess I could get more punch if I tightened up the suspension, but it's really comfortable because I'll going across the street, I'll jump off of curbs and do wheelies and stuff. So it's
just
really
have some fun
to have it comfortable,
Great. I'm glad we talked about that. Like, I have friends who commute by bicycle and stuff too, and I think you can kind of get used to it. But especially if you're hauling stuff, or if you have a backpack or something, it's just nice to have some comfort if you're actually using it like a car on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I think the suspension really does take a lot of the wear and tear off of your body, because it's, I get a good amount of exercise using this bike as a commuter. Even though it's got an electric motor, you're still pedaling and you're still balancing and still using your muscles, but there's no sense beating up on yourself too much, because then you just do more. If you're not tired out, you can go further and do more stuff, and that's what I like about it.
Well, speaking of that, how long does it take to charge the battery? You talked about charging it like every day or sometimes twice.
Yeah, so if I ride it to work, if I get here at 9 o'clock, at noon, if I plug it in, it'll be pretty much charged up to 5 bars. It might not be totally charged, but so 3 hours or so is
for
about
a full charge. Okay.
For a full charge.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You could have it on for an hour and get enough to go quite a while.
That's what I've heard. Like, the cells balance like at the higher level, so that it's like charging is like fast, slow towards the end. It's good to know. And speaking of that, I mean, we were looking at the odometer a second ago. This is 7,540 kilometers. I did some math earlier, and that's like 4,600 miles is how far this bike has gone.
Yeah.
And this is the same battery. Okay. So and
and the battery really hasn't lost any of its kick or anything. I don't think. I just charge it about once a day when I'm using the bike, which is pretty much all the time. And it hasn't lost a step. So the battery is real powerful, and it's been working out great. Okay,
that's good to know. Bosch does sell replacement batteries. This PowerPack 400 I think is like $700. So one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to like cut in just a second, and I'm going to talk about Colorado's energy prices per kilowatt hour. I think it's like 12 cents. And this is 400 watt hours. So you think, it's like 2 charges of that is 12 cents. So we're talking about 6 cents per charge. Anyway, I'm going to cut out, I'm going to do the math. You've got to take into account that you are using this battery. So if you imagine this lasts a year and a half or 2 years, you amortize the price of that $700. You also think about some of the electricity that's lost in heat going through the charging pack. But in short, I mean, and then also just the price of the bike. This was like a $5,000 bike. And so, looking back, it's like, okay, maybe it's $1 per ride, or, if you don't count any of the upfront costs, if it's just about electricity, we're really talking about 6 cents per ride. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Do you feel like it saved you money on, like, you've cars and stuff, like, how is the maintenance compared? Tell me what's broken. Tell me what you had to repair.
Yeah, since I've driven this so much, it saved wear and tear in the car, plus the cost of fuel. So that's saved quite a bit. There have been a few breakdowns along the road. The chains last probably 800 or 900 miles, I would say.
So you've replaced it a bunch of times.
Yeah. So I've gone through 6 chains or 7 chains or something like
Okay.
that.
And this is a mid-drive, so the motor is actively pulling the chain. It does have shift sensing technology, so it's designed to not pull quite as hard, but it still breaks the chains, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Eventually the chain starts to. One of the bike guys sold me the tester so that you can test your chain as it starts to stretch out. You can that would be a good thing to do, is to make sure that you change the chain before it broke, because the first time it broke, it got wrapped up in the derailleur and it broke the derailleur.
Oh, and that's right over here.
Yeah.
And this is an SLX? Yeah, Shimano. So this is a higher end derailleur.
Yeah, and the bike shop here in town was able to order that for me, and we got it, in about 4 days. But then we replaced that. That was about $100. The chain was $40 or $50. So It ended up being about $170 for that. And that was the more major repair that I've done.
How about the tires and all that, tubes and stuff?
Yeah, one thing I started out too, I got about 5 flat tires in about 2 or 3 weeks when I first started. We have the goat heads, and they got stuck in the tire, and I put new tubes on, and so I got the tubes with the slime in them, and then I also got the nylon strips inside the tire. And then the rest of the year I haven't had any flat tires. So,
okay, so that's good. Yeah, it's like the tire liners, and then like the tubes that are a little bit nicer.
Yeah, I carry a bike pump along too.
Oh, that's because they're slime. Does it like self-seal?
Yeah, it self-seals.
It's a nice pump. It's got like a pressure gauge on it.
Yeah, this one has a pressure gauge. It's a Rocket 44. You can get these off of Amazon. So that's a good pump to have along. It's so small I can stick it in the backpack or in the bag.
So let's talk about more accessories. Like, we got the ergonomic grips and stuff. They give you adjustability. We got this nice bell for being friendly, like letting people know you're coming. These lights, tell me about this. Like, how does this work, and what's that been like?
Yeah, this light, you can charge it just with a USB cable, and it just plugs into the back. That's and nice. There's different modes where it flashes or it's constant, and it really does help. You don't realize how good you can see until it starts to go dead with the battery, and then it's pretty dark. So, so you can it's pretty bright. Sometimes at night people say, boy, that's a bright light, but
and you can aim it. It looks like it's got a little bit of, you can go forward or backwards.
Yeah, when you're going around the corner, you can kind of tip it. And so it's like one of the BMWs where you're driving the car.
Cool.
And you turn the steering wheel and the headlights follow. So
that's
you can kind of tap it a bit when you're going around a corner. There's a corner like that on my way home. At night it's pretty dark, and that way you can kind of ring the bell a little bit.
Yeah.
And turn the light so you can see that there's no people in the way.
So this is the Cygolite Streak. I think we got these off Amazon. And then it came with like a rear light and stuff. We're kind of in transition here. I noticed we were talking before. You've got the Topeak carry rack, which has a fender, and you got the front fender too. So has that worked out pretty well, like keeping you dry and stuff?
Yeah, the fenders have been really good. Sometimes when the sidewalks get wet, the water will get up in your eyes.
You.
So I bought a new fender up front, and you can take that off real easy. It's got kind of a quick release, but I just leave it on because it keeps
Axiom,
the dirt and everything off of your face.
Okay.
And this back rack has the fender attached to that, so when that's on, you can put the pack on the back, and the fender keeps the water off your back.
So what happened though? Like it looks like it just broke the bolt.
Yeah, it finally gave out about a week or two ago. I think I was jumping off a curb or something, and it gave out. So
okay.
it actually lasted pretty good. It was on the bike for about a year.
Awesome.
And
got kind of like the slider connects thing with the Topeak bag. Just slide that on.
Yeah, I've got a great bag, and it just slides right on. And if you go to the store, you can just grab it and pull it off.
Okay. Oh, and there's the zip-off pannier thing. So how heavy do you load this, Greg?
Well, I do some juicing and stuff too. So I'll go to the grocery store and load it with celery, and I've even had watermelons in there, and apples. So it's been really heavy a few times.
Okay.
It's got it on both sides.
Kind of balance the load.
So, and then this keeps it from, getting into the wheels when you fold it down.
Okay.
What's kind of nice is you don't always have to have all of that. When it's folded up, it's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And then you can just throw your sunglasses and wallet and everything.
Yeah. Repair kit, your little extras, phones and stuff. Yeah, I like that. Coming back to the ergonomics and comfort, not having something on your back is preferable for me at least.
Yeah.
Probably the same.
Yeah, because usually I have a padlock and a cable for when I lock it up, and that gets kind of heavy. So if it's attached to the bike, I guess I kind of like that better, because that you can always have it in case you go into a store or need to lock it up.
That's a good point. Like, you're not leaving this out locked up overnight, right? Because
No,
have you had any
it.
problems with,
No, when you stop at the stores, usually they have a bike rack. Not everyone does, though. It's kind of surprising. Sometimes you have to just cable it to a pole,
Go through the wheels.
Or a fence.
This
Home
one has the
Depot,
quick
I tie
release.
it to their fence display because they don't have a bike rack. So I tie it up to a picket fence there.
That's nice.
So.
That's nice. Have you ever taken the wheels off using the quick release? Because that's one of the other things about the mid-drive. You can kind of...
Oh, yeah. No, I've never taken them off myself.
Do you just ride everywhere, or do you ever put this in your car?
Well, I've got a Volkswagen. I can put it in the trunk and have the front wheel hang out, so
Okay.
I can get it around and just bungee it,
Fits all right.
and it's pretty easy to do that.
I think with the battery, this is like a 48-pound bike. So for an electric bike, that's pretty light. And when you take the battery off, that's another 6 pounds or something. So and you're a strong guy, you're fit. So it's cool that you haven't had any issues. Can you tell me about the backpack thing real quick here and what you're doing now?
Oh, yeah. Since my rack just broke, I need to replace that. But I've been experimenting using a backpack.
Yeah.
So, here's my lock and cable.
Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah,
So it's the same one.
Got the U-lock. This goes around the frame, and then this through the wheels so no one can steal it.
Yeah. So it's plenty of cable, so I can run it through both of the wheels and lock it up and go into a store and it's secure.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you got the water bottle and stuff there. And there's the charger. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the charger.
It's pretty small.
So it's so small, I usually just take it with me. I don't always need it, but I've got it in case I end up going on an excursion and using more battery. And then you can put your wallet and phone and everything in the backpack. So it works out good.
This is awesome. Thank you for, this has just been kind of an informal, off-the-cuff chat about the bike. Other things that were upgraded were these pedals. These are the magnesium Wellgo pedals. They're a little wider, and they've got the adjustable set screws, so you get really good grip on those. And it looks like you upgraded the seat, maybe?
Yeah, I changed the seat. I got it with the groove in it because there's a pudendal artery and nerve that you don't want to put pressure when you're sitting.
Good to know. That's the expert talking here. That's awesome.
So, the groove, they've got men's seats and women's seats, so you can kind of pick it appropriately. But that helped out quite a bit.
Okay.
I was able to get that at REI. The backpack and the carrier too are helpful when you're taking it to work. You can put your work clothes in there, and then in the winter when it's cold, you can put in extra layers of clothes.
So tell me about that. Like, what's it actually like riding on the rain and the snow and stuff? Have you done that?
Yeah. The first time it snowed, I was thinking that I was kind of done for the season for quite a while, because I thought it would be real slippery.
Yeah.
And I started riding it around, and it did fine in the snow.
Cool.
It had a lot of grip, and if it's packed icy stuff, then it's different. But here in Colorado, it's actually really nice at night when it's a new snow, it's snowing, and there's no cars out. You can go down and you're cutting new snow, and it's real quiet.
So quiet, yeah.
And
it's like peaceful.
Really beautiful. So
wow,
that's a cool way to go. And with the electric bike, I actually went off the sidewalk through the snow, and I just put it in turbo mode, and there was like a half a foot of snow, and the only thing is to wear clothes so it doesn't shoot up and freeze you.
Blast you. And maybe you got a hat and some gloves because your fingers get real cold.
Yeah, the gloves is an important. Oh, and the
gator.
The gator. to pull over your head and keep your neck warm. That was a real essential piece of equipment.
That is sweet. And the brakes, these are the hydraulic brakes. You know, everything. This was like a top of the line bike. So, you know, first of all, I'm glad that it's still running. The battery's still doing well.
Oh, yeah,
there's been some replacements, but you know.
Yeah, the biggest problems have been the derailleur. I've replaced twice, and then I've put different chains on. I changed the tires once, and even at the end of the summer, the tires are starting to wear down a bit. So I've been using it quite a bit, though.
Yeah, you can see we're getting to be slicks again.
Yeah, so I'll have to change those out again.
Continentals. These are supposed to be like flat resistant too, I think.
Yeah, they had at the bike shop. They said they had some that were like really aggressive mountain bike tires. This one's supposed to be maybe a little bit of a hybrid.
Okay.
Part mountain, part road.
A bit tougher for those thorns.
Yeah, and then they did change out the brake pads one time too during this past year, and that wasn't very expensive. They had like a super good one, and I just replaced it. It was like $20 to replace all the brake pads. Great. You know, and the hydraulic brakes are great. I mean, it really has great stopping power. Do
you mind saying how much you weigh in the range so that people can get an idea of how this performs and stopping and everything?
Oh yeah, I weigh about 190 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, riding this bike to work the past year, I lost about 10 or 12 pounds.
Cool.
So that was good. Yeah. That was a nice little, so I get a little bit of exercise program built into my commute. Plus you get more muscle strength and coordination too.
I like that. Yeah, it's good. Just you know, circulation.
Yeah.
I like those are the core values.
Couch potato too much because they're finding that if you sit too much, it's as bad as smoking. So that's not good.
That's a bummer. I sit behind a desk typing these reviews all the time. What is happening? It's great to know. I mean, we talked about community, health, and then financial savings, you know, being able to, you still have a license, you have insurance, but if you were someone who just completely went car free, you could save a lot that way, and you know, there's no oil changes and all that other stuff. Yes, there's a big outlay for a nicer bike like this, but not everyone needs, you know, you can still get around with some of the other models.
Well, and I didn't have to seek out a specialized bike shop or anything. I've been to a couple in town, and you know, I took it in and it's like, oh, the chain's having a problem, and they put a new chain on, and you know, and they've done the work. You know, they charge like $5 to put the chain on, so that's no big deal. You could do it yourself.
Yeah.
But you know, it's pretty cost effective. The chain's $40 and $5 for them to put it on. It works fine.
See, and you were saying they treat it like a regular bike. It's not like they are intimidated by the.
No, they were able to just, you know, fix it. One time I had a cable break off the derailleur. It just stuck in the one gear. I took it down, and you know, 15 minutes they had me out the door. So
sweet. Do you want to shout out to any of those shops? Do you know what they're called?
Breakaway Cycles in Loveland.
Breakaway Cycles?
Yeah. Okay. And then there's a Rocky Mountain cycle shop downtown.
Rocky Mountain Cycle Shop. Okay, and hey, Rye Chiropractic and Acupuncture, RyeChiropractic.com. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh yeah, you bet.
Of course, Haibike, Bosch. You know, this is great. Do you have any closing thoughts or any? We've covered so much here.
Yeah, no, it's really been great. I love riding the bike. It's fun to ride a bike anyhow, but this is really an enjoyable experience. Yeah. So you know, you can use it to save some money and to get into shape and just have a lot of fun. And so I would really recommend the e-bikes.
Cool.
You know, whatever one you could seek out, because it really is enjoyable, and it's kind of like you're on vacation all the time.
Sweet.
It's a good thing.
Well, I love you, Greg.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like the bike so much, and I'm glad it's still working. Great job. And as always, you know, we got the helmet over here and stuff. Ride safe. I hope this helps you guys. This is why I do the site. I believe in electric bikes. I think, you know, they offer so much, and it's awesome to hear family, you know, echoing that. So good luck out there, and check out the website, ElectricBikeReview.com. If you're looking for bikes, I try to review all of them, so you've got choices. Try to be unbiased and, you know, give every bike its fair due. If you have this bike and you have any other feedback, chime in, and take care.